could not be missed of Hiraba Modi, because even as the mother of the Prime Minister of the country, she would have very bare minimum things that she would live here with her son, and of course Narendra Modi's brother. And even then we saw when there were any issues of importance, say for example, as we mentioned, the vaccination drive, then be it the coming out and voting. So these are some of the social issues that we have seen Hiraba Modi speaking about, and that is why we have been speaking about how she used to have a cult following in the youngsters as well, because she was somewhat, she would make these somewhat of statements, or the kind of work that she would do, or the kind of imploring the youngsters to go out and get vaccinated, or to go out and cast their votes. So she had also gotten this kind of a following from the young youth as well, here at least in Gandhinagar, that we were able to see, and also on social media. We had seen how every time Hiraba Modi would come out and vote, that used to be the wave of in social media as well, when it would be to implore the youngsters to come out and vote. So some of these images that we remember of Hiraba Modi as well. And of course, we have been speaking to her neighbors. We have been speaking to some of the people that used to spend some time with Hiraba Modi, and the kind of preparation that used to happen. You know, Deepti, we every time the Prime Minister would arrive in the state of Gujarat, he would be coming here at the house to meet with Hiraba Modi. And the kind of preparation that would go on is something that we are seeing, that we would get a sense of when we speak to the neighbors of Hiraba Modi, as well as we have spoken to them today as well. And they also recount how Hiraba Modi would be excited, and she would be extremely happy and jubilant when it was the day of the Prime Minister to arrive here. Each and every day, that every time that he would be arriving here, this used to be the kind of planning that was being carried out as well, the kind of preparation that would be going on for making the food, and of course the kind of work that was being done for Hiraba Modi to prepare for the Prime Minister to also arrive at the house. So these are some of the anecdotes that we hear of Hiraba Modi from the neighbors as well. And of course this is something that also shows us the kind of simplicity that Hiraba Modi used to also the kind of simplicity she used to embody, and that is something that we see people recounting even today. And in the crematorium, Deepti, we see, as I mentioned earlier, very less movement of the who's who of the political fraternity, so to speak, of Gujarat. But we do see some faces, say for example, the former Chief Minister of Gujarat, Shankar Singh Waghela, who has had a very close relationship with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, since he was the leader of opposition for the Congress party when Narendra Modi was the Chief Minister. And even as they have been at the opposing ends of politics over the past few years, we have seen whenever something big that has happened, Shankar Singh Waghela has been present for Narendra Modi. In fact, interestingly, we had also seen him present for the 2017 Gujarat government formation as well. And interestingly, we see him here. So, of course, a personal bond that they have also shared beyond the political enmity that there might be. We see that all of that aside, they are present there for the Prime Minister, for Narendra Modi, not as the Prime Minister, but as the son of Hiraba Modi, who is, of course, is going through, of course, a difficult time that the family is going through for Hiraba Modi's passing away. And that's exactly what we see, the images of the family members as well, inconsolable. But what we see, the Prime Minister stoic as ever, when he had also carried the mortal remains of Hiraba Modi to the crematorium, and even during the time that the last rites were being performed. And we can expect that the last rites, after being performed, that the Prime Minister might be coming here and spending some time with his family as well today.
Oh yes, and you know, Priyanka, every word I think that you read about the Prime Minister's mother, everything that you've seen or heard about Hiraba, again, is a clear reflection of what a person she was. You know, what are the values, the principles that she really stood for, something that she has lived on, imbibed on, and also passed on to her family. And I again want to speak about what the Prime Minister had written about Hiraba in his blog, as we'll stay with these images. As the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, the son, is bidding the final goodbye to Hiraba at the age of 100, he had said, "In my mother's life story, I see the penance, the sacrifice and the contribution of India's Matru Shakti. Whenever I look at mother and cross a woman like her, I find there is nothing that is unachievable for Indian women." Prime Minister said, "Far beyond every tale of deprivation is the glorious story of a mother. Far above every struggle is the strong resolve of a mother. Ma, a very happy birthday to you. Best wishes as you start your birth centenary year." This is when Hiraba had turned 100. He also said that in his life, his father never became a burden on anyone. Mother too tries to ensure that she does her own course as much as possible. And he also said that today, whenever I meet mother, she always tells me, "I don't want to be served by anyone. I want to go with all my limbs working." Something I think that has turned prophetic. That is actually how Hiraba went. And the Prime Minister, there rushing from Ahmedabad like a sun, and the final journey, remember, is underway, even as the last rites now almost completed. And like Priyanka said, remember, there has been, this is a no frills. We've seen a very, very simple and ordinary cremation ceremony. We haven't seen any VVIP visits. The Modis themselves, the family, has released an entire statement saying that the best way to give Shraddhanjali to Hiraba right now is to carry on with your daily course. Remember her in your prayers. That's how it's going to be a true Shraddhanjali for Hiraba. And we are given to understand that the Prime Minister himself is going to be carrying on with his day's works after the cremation gets over. But extremely powerful, and at the same point very, very difficult images to talk on that you're seeing on your screens right now. The Prime Minister continues to be stoic. We saw the younger brother there breaking down for a moment. The Prime Minister says, "My mother is as simple as she is extraordinary, just like all mothers." He even says that when he writes about his mother, he says, "I'm sure that many of you would relate to my description of her, and while reading, you may even see your own mother's image." That is what mother, that is what Ma meant for Narendra Modi. On number of instances, he's spoken about the kind of struggles, the values that Hiraba instilled in the entire family, how in spite of having a difficult childhood, how in spite of the fact that she has struggled and not had too many opportunities, even when it comes to basic education, she ensured that she, while working in people's homes, while doing menial jobs, is able to impart the best of values and education to her children. The Prime Minister says, "In Vadnagar, our family used to stay in a tiny house which did not even have a window, leave alone a luxury like a toilet or a bathroom." He says, "We used to call this one-room tenement with mud walls and clay tiles for a roof, our home. And all of us, my parents, my siblings, and I stayed in it." He also says mother did not have much of a childhood because of the struggles that she went through. She was forced to grow beyond her age. She was the eldest child in her family. She became the eldest daughter-in-law after marriage. In her childhood, she used to take care of the entire family and manage all the chores. After marriage too, she picked up all these responsibilities, and despite that, and despite the everyday struggles, Mother Hiraba held the entire family together with calm and fortitude. On another occasion, as I'll get in Priyanka back with us, he's also talking, Priyanka, of how Hiraba never expected the children to leave their studies or assist her with the household chores. She used to wash utensils at people's houses to ensure that the household expenses are met. And you know, it is very, very difficult, Priyanka, to right now think of what must be going on in the Prime Minister's mind. You know, someone who does not speak much when it comes to his personal life. We've seen, just some images of Hiraba, and I think the last image also that he has tweeted, Priyanka, earlier this morning is of Hiraba there holding a thali which has a diya, again signifying the fact that I think mother was all the light in his life. Priyanka.
And that's really true for the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Deepti, when it comes to the bond that the Prime Minister and Hiraba Modi had shared. Because we do see, every time that the PM would be coming here to the state of Gujarat, he would be making it a point to come to meet with Hiraba, to spend some time with Hiraba. And in fact, the mood of the day would be reflected in those images every time that the PM would be coming to meet Hiraba as well. And that is something that we have seen happening from the time that every time that the Prime Minister comes, he does meet with the Hiraba and of course spend some time with her. And we see those images. Remember during the run-up to the elections, we had seen the Prime Minister doing marathon rallies, marathon campaigning, road shows that were being carried out. I remember one particular, in fact, incident where he had carried out 4 rallies in the day, and in the evening he had come out and met with Hiraba, spent some time with her, and then of course the next image that we saw of the Prime Minister and Hiraba together was during the elections, when the elections had culminated and the BJP in fact had garnered record-breaking victory of more than the records that had been set by Madhav Singh Solanki as well. So those were the images. Then we saw of Hiraba Modi congratulating Narendra Modi, feeding him sweets, also sharing a meal with him. So these were the images that we saw reflecting the mood of the day as far as the work of the Prime Minister is concerned. Because we do see, as we had been earlier speaking about Hiraba as well, that every time that there is an important issue, she would make it a point that there is a message that is sent across, at least from her, that she is in support of this, then be it for the vaccination drive or for the voting or for GST, for various other issues. In fact, we have seen on those rare moments that Hiraba Modi would make a public appearance and would not really essentially do a press conference, but by her own way of life, she would send out this message. Say, for example, during the vaccination drive as well, she would not speak to the media, she would not say anything, she would just quietly go and stand in the vaccination drive queues and then get vaccinated. And that in itself, she was sending a message across that, of course, to come out and get vaccinated in this fight against the pandemic. Then, of course, even during the voting time, we have seen Hiraba Modi very patiently standing in the queues, waiting for her turn to go in and vote. So these are some of the instances that we remember of Hiraba Modi in the public eye. But as earlier as well, Hiraba Modi and the entire family, for that matter, really enjoys their privacy. They are very strict about their privacy as well. They do not come in the public eye as much, even though they are the family of the Prime Minister of the country, Narendra Modi. They try to not come in the public eye too much, and simplicity is what we had been speaking about when it comes to Hiraba Modi's life, and that is the kind of philosophy that she really embodied. We see something that we got to see in Hiraba Modi's rare moments when she would come out in the public eye as well. And even in those images that we would see of her spending time with the Prime Minister, it would not be anything exorbitant. It would just be a simple meal that the mother and son would share. It would not be some exorbitant exchange of gifts, but in fact, some exchange of some moments, some tweets that were exchanged every time that the Prime Minister would come when there was a victory that was registered for the BJP, then be it elections or otherwise as well. The most recent, as I mentioned earlier, being that of the Gujarat elections, where we had seen Hiraba Modi celebrating with the Prime Minister in the simple manner as well of exchanging sweets, since of course we have seen the kind of manner in which Hiraba Modi has spent her life as well. And of course, even now we hear the anecdotes of Hiraba Modi preparing for the Prime Minister's arrival every time that he would come to her house, spend some personal moments with her, some intimate time with her. And those were really the images that we remember today. Very sadly, when we see another set of images where the Prime Minister, as the son of Hiraba Modi, carrying the mortal remains of Hiraba Modi at the crematorium, where of course the last rites are underway. And we can expect that the last rites will be culminated, and the Prime Minister might be here for quite some time, might do a visit once again at the house, spend some time with the family members. But of course we are being told that as per the schedule of the Prime Minister is concerned, that has not been changed. He will be sticking to all of the schedules, all of the gatherings, all of the public events that he is expected to be present at, because that really has been the philosophy of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi that we have been seeing, that he does prioritize work above all else, and that the personal tragedy in itself that has occurred in the form of Hiraba Modi's passing away will also not interfere in the work of the Prime Minister, because it seems as though none of the schedule has been changed, none of the events have been postponed or cancelled. So the event and the schedule and the itinerary remains as it was for the Prime Minister. But of course, one can imagine the kind of grief, the kind of difficulty, and the kind of moments that the family members would be sharing right now to witness, in fact, such a tragedy of Hiraba Modi's passing away. But of course, she had lived a full life, and that's exactly what people remember. She was the age of 100 years, and she had lived a full life. She had, in fact, struggled a lot in her life, and the grace with which she had endured all of those struggles is something that people also recall and remember about Hiraba